Thank you, Jim. Our next speaker this evening is Commander Williams, who is with the Oak Park Police Department, and I will just hand it over to him.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening, and thank you all for coming. It's always encouraging to see such a large representation of Oak Park come out on this important issue. And it is important, and we don't talk about it enough. And so I'm encouraged when I see this brought out in the open and by the doctor's comments, and we can talk about it without pressure, without finger pointing, because that inhibits us from moving forward. So I know this is organized and there's a format to it, but I love the idea and thought that we could just talk for a moment about the statistics and about how important this is. Some of the statistics have already been brought up. One of the most astounding or in-your-face, bring it home statistic is something in the area, and this is not my area, but I would just, let's look at the number of 50%. Let's just take 50%. Drug and alcohol use combined. That means every other kid in our community has access to or is using, selling drugs. 50%. The problem with that is it's always someone else's kid. We run into that all the time, the police, okay? We'll go to the loud party, the drug and alcohol party, and they're out in the street or in the house, and they're making noise, and we come and we do what we have to do, and we'll contact the parent, and there's shock or anger and the finger pointing. And oftentimes it's pointed at the people who are trying to do something to bring this to the attention of the parent. So I'm glad to see that that's, okay, we're going to set that aside for now, the finger pointing. It's a problem. It's a real problem. And I'm so encouraged that we're talking about it. As regards public safety and the ripple effect that was somewhat alluded to before, it was actually mentioned, the traffic accidents, the criminal behavior. It takes money to buy drugs. Where do they get that money from? Do they come to you, the parent, and say, well, Mom, give me $20 so I can buy another bag of marijuana? No. Right? Maybe they steal it from you. Maybe they steal it from someone else. We see the fights out in the street over what? And sometimes we get to the bottom of it. A lot of times, these kids, they're tough. They are tough. They don't talk. They don't tell us what's going on. We're the enemy, and they're clever. They're clever. They will fool you. You're the parent. You think, well, my kid's not doing drugs, right? My kid doesn't drink alcohol. I don't have to worry about that. They are clever. They know how to play you. One of our officers got, this is not just a drink to nourish me during this time here. It's a can. One of our officers got off of some subject on the street the other day. Right? And this thing, it looks real. My hands are sweaty. I'm a little nervous. Excuse me. John, see if you can open that top off there. Something going to pop out of it. I'm sorry. I didn't know so many people would come out. And I was actually thinking of maybe handing this around. This is a hollow can. Right? We get information all the time about professional drug sellers and how they go about the clever manipulating of vehicles and stuff to store their drugs and bring them into the country, and et cetera. This is right here in our town. They're using stuff like this to bring the drugs, convenient. They're out in the open. I heard today in the hallway coming over about an experience an officer had where kids walking down the street and he's got his drugs in an apple. And he's walking down the street. Somehow or another, the apple's concealing the smell or the fact that this kid is actually doing drugs as he's walking down the street. It's prevalent. It's in our community. It's out there. It's not always the quote-unquote bad kids or the kids you might look at and say, oh, that kid's bad, or that kid's from over there. Some things we do know. Some things we were able to find out. We talked about this at the last meeting. Where the drugs coming from? I think someone, Mr. Powers may have mentioned that in his statement earlier. They're getting the drugs from the people they know. They all have contacts. They have connections. They have friends. Everyone knows somebody that knows somebody else that you can get these drugs from. It's the casual connections and casual acquaintances. It's not necessarily, although there is some of that, the outside influence, the guy in the dark van with the black tinted out windows pulling up at the school at the close of the day selling the drugs. It's not necessarily that. There may be some of that, and you know, we do see that on occasion and arrest people and get calls of that nature. But it's the little stuff. It's the breaks. It's the high school, at the break time, in the alley, well, maybe I shouldn't mention locations, but the locations are known. It's not a secret. We pretty much know what happens and where. What I do want to mention in my short time that I have left, I do have some statistics for you. I don't know how much. Let me just give you a couple real quick. Drug arrests, juveniles, 2009. 7 juvenile arrests, 51 total for violations of the drugs for the adults and everyone involved. 165, I'm sorry, for all of 2009. That first number I gave you was 2010, first 4 months. And we have that number broken down. So we're in the process, as the doctor mentioned earlier, of looking at and statistically breaking down where, when, what. Is it just drug use? Is it paraphernalia? What types? We know that marijuana is the most prominent, but there's other types. There's cocaine, heroin's an issue here. I want to get back to a statement that was made earlier regarding Ground Zero. When we get around to eventually talking about what can we as a community do about it, one of the things that we know as for a strategy is, because we've been involved in a war on drugs for, 40 years? President Nixon declares a war on drugs, and we're going to stop it. 40 years ago, it's not any better. They're killing each other at the border over this. We're getting, well, it's an issue. It's a tough one to fight. So the strategy may be to pick out a particular area, a particular location, and let's say, let's at least make this place safe so a kid can come to school without fear or threat of being intimidated or drawn into the drug culture. Let's pick one place and make it safe. That's how the whole concept, or my understanding of the concept of Ground Zero, said, let's pick a place, an important place, a foundational place for the quality of life of the entire village, and say, let's draw the line here. Can we do it? Can we focus enough to do it? And there's strategies, there's theories out there. I have some I can offer either, well, later or at the next meeting perhaps, for how we might go about doing it. It's all about peer pressure. That's how they get drawn in. So we take the cool kids, the smart kids, the in crowd, and the athletes, and they say no. And we get them to sign petitions and hold rallies and discuss the issue amongst themselves, the kids, and bring the peer pressure to bear. That's what draws them into drug usage. And with that, we can perhaps use that as a method to stop them from being drawn in. My time is up. Thank you for the privilege of talking here.